speaking to James Brown, one of our programmers.
Hi.
All right. Similar question to what the community's probably heard before is some background on you. How did you, begin in your video game career?
Well, I started it by going to Full Sail. I went to Full Sail for game development, which then taught me how to program video games. And then post Full Sail, I was trying to get a job in the industry. It was taking a while. A lot of people don't want to hire people right out of college, so I ended up doing a consultant job up in this area, doing stuff for Disney and Starwood Hotels, Vegan Vacation Ownership, and then I saw the job opening for here and applied, and it worked, and now I'm here and happy.
So what you're telling me is you came right out of school, then worked for Disney. Let me cry some tears for you.
Well, I was a consultant. I didn't specifically work. Yeah, sort of.
Sort of.
They were kind of a client.
Yeah. People often think, at least I have in the past, and other people that are perhaps a little more outside the industry, when you say game developer, you're speaking of more of the story aspect, but I understand that it's a bit different on the inside. And can you define game developer versus game designer so people can have a clear idea of what that is?
I guess if you consider a game developer as in game programmer, we do the code. Game designers will talk a lot about the story and they'll the general feel of what you want in the game, and based on what the design is, we write the code to make that happen and create a fantasy world out of numbers and codes and words and come onto the screens.
As a programmer, you're a very valued commodity. Sometimes hard to find good programmers. You can command a high price and kind of pick your places at sometimes. So why choose a smaller studio that's making a game from scratch?
To me, picking a studio like CSE is great because it is a smaller team. So being on a smaller team, you still need to do all of the tasks that another larger studio would do. So I get to get my hands in a lot of different facets of the game that working at a larger studio I would be more specialized into one thing. Here I get to do a little bit of everything.
What do you think you would be specialized into if you're working for a larger studio?
Depends what I got hired for. Probably tools or gameplay. Tools I like a lot.
And is that the primary thing you're working on right now?
Here primarily, I do kind of half and half, but I'm the most on the tools. There's more than anyone else here as far as tools go.
Okay, that's cool. You can bring your expertise from the tools and then have that option for the extra things. What other extra things are you working on?
Well, like the animation system for our game. I wrote that, and loading all of our game's assets in the game client, as well as build pipeline stuff. Speaking
about the pipeline, take me along the steps so we can see the process to the editor.
Okay, so the editor in our build pipeline is the process from taking something an artist creates into a game asset, say for example a character. The concept artist draws up a character, sends it to the modeler models it up, sends it to the animator makes animations of it, and then when that's all done, they save it out into an FBX format, which is a file format. Okay. And then they'll take that, put that in the editor, and say, hey, this is this file, and we're going to create this model with it, and pull out these animation clips from it, and then just click some buttons, and then in the code on the code side, we'll take all of that data and create a bunch of different small binary data blocks that are usable by the game to create that asset in the game, going from the FBX, which is on the editor side, then it goes through our build server to build it, and then that goes up to our patcher, which then says, hey, you have a new asset, and then tells the client, hey, there's new stuff, and then the client patcher downloads it from the patch server, and then it notifies your game and says, your game says, hey, there's a new file here, and then your game loads it up.
And then every Tuesday everyone goes. So if editors are grabbing all these assets at different times, as you're walking, you're moving, all that, how do you make them flow into something cohesive so it doesn't look like, you know, you're some sort of strange zombie walking character or something like that, unless that's your intent?
Well, as far as animations go, yes, they're all individual clips. Like one clip will be just a guy walking, you know, to the side or walking forwards, and taking all those clips, we create what I call a behavior, and then that behavior has it's a blend tree, like, which is just like, if this happens, we're gonna have this clip, which also uses this clip and kind of mixes things together, matches them together, so that you have kind of fluid motion in your animations.
What excites you about what you're working on and what you're hoping to work on?
Making a game. I've always wanted to make an MMO, and this is a lot of fun, and especially doing a animation system for a game of this scale, and all the tools, the core framework for our tools, and our build pipeline for an MMO of this scale is awesome to have built. And I just like writing the code. I think it's really cool to see your stuff be used.
Mm-hmm.
So.
When you go home and you say, I just want to write some more code, that's probably a good sign. You seem to work fairly late hours and do things.
Yeah, I'd rather be here most times than not here. Because when I go home, I just kind of decompress and watch like a little bit of TV, and then I write more code. Or play board games.
Play D&D, play Magic, writing code at the same time.
Pretty much.
Nice.
It's always good to have a job where you can just, you know, rather be here at your work than not at your work.
Yes.
So.
Well, thank you, James.
All right.